Hey guys, in this one I want to go over weather symbols, and there will be a quiz on this information. However, I'll tell you exactly what needs to be on it. I'm going to give you the answers right here. Basically, I'm not going to have you calculate anything that's in this PowerPoint, just simply describe what these numbers are talking about. So this is an example of the weather station model. And like I said, I'm just going to ask you for a description of these items. So for example, not that this number is 64, but you're just going to tell me that this is the current temperature. All right, so as I just said, the number in the top left corner that's highlighted in yellow is the current temperature outside. And so when I give you the quiz, when I ask you about this, all you'll need to tell me is current temperature. Okay, and most of you have a generalized definition of what temperature is, but we're going to increase it a little bit here. Temperature is actually defined as a measure of the average speed of the molecules in motion of the air. Okay, so generally when molecules move faster, they're going to become hotter. When they move slower, they're going to be colder. Okay, the symbol in the middle stands for the current weather. And one of the reasons I just want you to know that this stands for the current weather is because there's a lot of symbols that describe types of weather, and you'll see that on the next slide here. So I just want you to tell me that that is the current weather. And you can see all of the symbols here. All right, the temperature at the bottom left corner here, or the number at the bottom left corner here, is the dew point temperature, and that indicates the amount of moisture in the air. So the higher the dew point, the higher the moisture content in the air, and dew point is actually equal to the temperature to which the air would have to cool in order to reach saturation. And saturated, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the word saturated before, but basically what that means is that a substance is holding as much of another substance as it can. And so in this case, we're talking about air holding water. So if the air becomes saturated, it is holding as much water as it can possibly hold without becoming supersaturated. Here's a generalized definition here. It just says when the dew point temperature in the air are equal, you can tell the air is saturated by the formation of water droplets. Okay, and you can see that in the morning, we call that dew, hence the reason dew point. The dew point will never be greater than the air temperature, because when that happens, you'll start to see the formation of water droplets, fog, or precipitation. Next, the center portion here is considered the cloud coverage. So the portion of the circle that's filled in represents the percentage of cloud cover that you see outside. Air pressure is denoted in millibars in the upper right-hand corner, and that is the value that's highlighted in yellow here. I'm going to teach you how to calculate this, but remember, all you have to tell me for the quiz is that this just represents air pressure, okay? And it's quite simple to do. If the reported value is greater than 500, then all you have to do is put a 9 in front of it, and then move your decimal place to the left 1. So for example, if you have the number 827, and you put a 9 in front of it, move your decimal place 1 to the left, it now becomes 982.7 millibars. If the reported value is less than 500, then you do the same thing, but instead of a 9, you put a 10. So if you have the number 027, like you do in this instance, it would become 1002.7. Lastly, this little flag and barbs off of here represent the wind speed and direction, and that's what you would tell me on the test. The wind barbs point in the direction from which the wind is blowing, so you can go ahead and use this direction as the descriptor of the wind direction. So in this sense, in the instance to the right here, this would be a northeast wind, and in this instance, this would be a southeast wind. Also, the barbs on the corner here represent the wind speed in knots. All right, and you can see all of this stuff down at the bottom, but this is a better description on this slide.